What's up YouTube, Gemini Johnny back again with day 29 of TikToktober, where I'm taking you through the weirdest, creepiest, and most unexplained TikToks I can find that'll make you question everything. You guys probably all know the drill by now, but I take what I like to call a rational believer's approach to most of these videos, because I am looking for evidence of the paranormal, but I'm also looking for true evidence of the paranormal or creepy or weird things that are going on out there in the world. And a lot of these videos are fake, and I'm not a yes man, I'm just gonna give you fake reactions for the clicks. I'm gonna keep it real and tell you what I think. So if that's what you're into, stick around. If not, I don't know, go watch Mr. Beast or something. All right, now without further ado, let's jump right in. All right, before we jump in, this is Marianne Nafsu. Definitely seen her stuff before. She always makes good stuff. And this is another creepy mirror vid. This is actually from a few years ago, but I haven't seen, it doesn't look familiar. I don't think I've seen it, but.
Somebody found a mirror right across her bed in a hotel room, and we need to talk about it.
On the same wall as the mirror.
Massive. Yeah, directly.
Now, if you ever felt unsafe or thought there was something behind the mirror, which there probably isn't anything behind there, I'm going to show you how to find it. Obviously, if you can remove the mirror, then do that first and check. If not, then do this. This is the fingernail test. If there's space between your fingernail and the reflection, then you're safe. If there's no space, then leave that place. This is what you don't want to see. See how my fingernail is almost touching the reflection?
I feel like I've seen that 100 times and I always forget which way it goes, if your mirror's supposed to be touching or not, but okay. Your finger is touching this. If there is no space, leave that place. That's good. Yeah, I mean, definitely creepy. And people in the comments are saying, I guess you're just like you're not supposed to put mirrors across from each other. You're also not supposed to put one in front of your bed like that. Oh yeah, McKamey Manor's back.
Whether you call it the scariest haunted house in America or a torture chamber in disguise, McKamey Manor is back. Because technically, it's a haunted house in Summertown, Tennessee, but it's also attracted a lot of controversy over the years where it's, we'll call it extreme methods. With participants even having to sign a 40-page waiver, provide a doctor's note, show proof of medical insurance, submit to a background check, and do interviews before going inside. And if someone actually decided to read the waiver, they would discover that tooth pulling, finger breaking, or head shaving could all be on the menu during the several-hour-long experience. And that's without mentioning, as others have described, being waterboarded, tased, whipped, covered in tarantulas, and trapped in small boxes. And then, if you make it through all that and you get to the end, there's supposedly a $20,000 prize, though no one's actually ever gotten it. But then also, if you can't finish, you can't quit either. It's actually written in the waiver that once you're in unless, quote, serious psychological injury is present. And in fact, you had the Manor's owner, Russ McKamey, telling Hulu in a documentary last year, either you actually complete the tour, which is not going to happen, or you mentally or physically are at such a breaking point that it's not safe for you to continue and I need to take you out. Though he may have spoken too soon, right? In that, because the documentary caught the attention of Tennessee's Attorney General, who opened an investigation into McKamey Manor last year. Because according to District Attorney Brent Cooper, who spoke to News 2, torture is technically legal between two consenting adults, but anyone can revoke their consent at any time. Since McKamey allegedly refuses to let people quit once they've started and outright stated in the film that there were no safe words, he could be liable here.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we talked about McKamey Manor in one of my Rational Rundown episodes, which I do want to bring back. I might do that next month. There's been a lot going on the internet that I'd like to talk about. But yeah, we covered that in one of the, I think episode 2 of Rational Rundown. And if you missed that, I'll link the playlist at the end and you can watch, there's only 2, so you can watch those. But we talked about Reckless Ben, the content creator who made it his mission to take down McKamey Manor and Russ McKamey. And I thought he was successful, especially with that documentary coming out on Hulu. I really thought he was done, but apparently he has started back up in Tennessee. Lovely. Oh, my bad. He's been in Tennessee. I was thinking he had restarted in Tennessee, but that's where he was last at. And you guys might remember he was arrested on like multiple domestic violence and a second-degree attempted murder charge. And apparently all those charges have been dropped. The Tennessee Attorney General said that those claims had no merit after speaking to the accuser and going over the evidence. And yeah, it's crazy enough that this dude wasn't even arrested for this stuff. He was arrested for beating up his girlfriend. Dude's a POS. Like, I'm guessing that they just made up and she decided to tell the Attorney General that she was lying or something. I don't know. There's not really a whole lot of details. But one other interesting thing is that Russ McKamey filed a lawsuit against the people who made this documentary. And it says, the media defendants, including Hulu and the production company North of Now, were dismissed from the case voluntarily by Mr. McKamey because the dispute between Mr. McKamey and the media defendants has been resolved amicably and satisfactorily, which means he got paid. That sucks. Let's see what else North of Now has done. I'm sure they hated it too, to be honest. Like, I highly doubt that their goal in making a documentary about this piece of crap was to pay him eventually. Well, they also did the Netflix documentary about Jake Paul, Untold Jake Paul, the Problem Child. Take what you will from that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, they're people who make films and documentaries, and I I don't know. I don't think I would want to make a documentary about Russ McKamey and then eventually have to pay him. I also don't know if I would want to make a documentary about Jake Paul. But, you know, hey, to each their own. Can't be mad at anybody making money in this economy, right? Anyway, thought you guys should know Russ McKamey is back and no longer in jail.
Here's some terrifying photos to help you sleep tonight. This first photo was taken at a car dealership. It was the first night this guy was closing, so he took a bunch of pictures before he left. And in this particular picture, this door right here is the original owner's office, who passed away. He noticed when he was looking at the photos, it looked like something was standing in the doorway. And unfortunately, he was right, because when you brighten this photo, there is something standing in the doorway. It looks like a very tall man or woman
He's got an Aladdin vest
or
on.
long hair. The OP said it resembles the owner that recently passed away. You think the owner of this dealership's still hanging around even after his demise? Now, this next photo was posted by a caver, and it is pure nightmare fuel. It just looks like a photo of this guy coming out of the mouth of a cave. But he said he had a strange feeling the whole time he was in the cave, like he was being followed. And unfortunately, he couldn't have been more right. Because when you brighten this image, you can see something at the mouth of the cave with him. It looks like it's smiling for the picture.
Somebody in the comments said that this thing looks like the Hellier Kentucky Goblin. Wish you could see his ears. Let me get this goblin pulled up for you. Does kind of look like him. I mean, from what you can see. Let's be real. You can't really make much out from this fuzzy thing. But interesting. Yeah, that would freak me the hell out, though. So would the car dealership one, though. This is creepy as hell. Bro, looks like he's got on an Aladdin vest or something. When she said long hair, though, it does kind of look like really long hair. How does this... I want to know how this resembles the old owner. I need to see a picture of the original owner. Because did he wear vests? Or did he have waist-length black hair? And sunken hollow eyes? This looks like a costume just from the first frame of it, but also, I don't know. Something gives me creepy vibes. Nope. Why does it look like a cartoon? That's crazy. Yeah, that's creepy. I don't like it. You know this dude has one of those Twitter accounts with the anime profiles, though. No offense to anybody out there with an anime profile. Why did they make the zipper red? You got like a bloody line down the middle of your head. It's creepy looking. I guess it's kind of the point, though, right? Is it supposed to be cute? Like, is this fun and cool? Or, like, it's supposed to be creepy, right? I don't understand this culture at all, so I'm not really sure. But if you're curious and you want to see more, that's Happy Moogie 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 on TikTok. Moogie is spelled M-U-G-Y 4 times. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And it's just a whole lot more of this. Like I said, dude, I don't understand this. I don't know what's happening here. Somebody's out there making these videos. I mean, I think it's got to be, the goal is to be creepy, right? Anyway.
Case is every parent's worst nightmare. One day, Mary Fox watched as her 14-year-old daughter Margaret got on a public bus to go to a babysitting job. She had recently put an ad in a local New Jersey newspaper saying that she was a babysitter looking for summer work. And the next day, she got a call from a man calling himself John Marshall saying that he had a son who was 5 years old and needed a babysitter in the mornings. Also, all this information is coming from this week's episode of Heart Starts Pounding, available wherever you get your podcasts. So Margaret was supposed to get on the bus and then meet John at another bus stop in his red Volkswagen. But Margaret never makes it home that day. And Margaret's mom starts freaking out, so she goes over to the phone where John Marshall's number is written down. And when she calls the number, she realizes that it connects to a public payphone outside of a local grocery store. John Marshall wasn't real. He had given the family a fake phone number, and now Margaret was missing. But one of the craziest parts of the case is a few days after this happened, someone saying they were John Marshall called the family back asking for ransom for Margaret. It's honestly one of the eeriest phone calls I've ever heard, and I play a recording of the phone call in this week's episode of Heart Starts Pounding. But John Marshall never gives them instructions on how to pay the ransom, and he never calls back. To this day, nobody really knows what happened to Margaret, but we talk about some theories as to what could have happened, as well as some leads that weren't really followed by police in this week's episode.
We've seen her many times before. She does great content. It's usually true crime. I know it's a little bit different than creepy content, but that is creepy. She's Heart Starts Pounding. It's the same name as her podcast as well. So if you want to hear that recording, go check that out. But man, how creepy. It's so weird what a different time we were in, like 30, 40 years ago. She had to put an ad in the paper to try to find a babysitting job. And her parents let her go to a stranger's home by herself. Like, it's just so wild. I can't imagine somebody doing that today. The caption of this one says, "Beware, don't stare too long, or you may find this fellow staring back." Why is he morphing into the Joker? That's it? Bro, you ain't scary. I'll stare at you all day. I ain't scared of shit. What's up? Bro looks like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Thinks he's gonna scare me. Need to go find your precious, or I'll give you something to smile about. This girl says she knows the truth about 3 a.m. to 5 a.m.
We all been lied to about the truth behind the times of 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. And I'm about to tell you exactly what the fuck be going on at that time. Let's get into it. Basically, during this time, the veil between our realm and the other higher realms of existence is thinnest at this point, right? Everybody's been told that. But did you know that at this point in your time, if you get woken up, it's called the ambrosial hour. And it's actually a huge energetic boost for all of us that naturally we wake up during the night. Sometimes when our soul, aka our higher soul, wants us to use this energy to be in the creator mode of this reality. So if you ever played Minecraft, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. It's actually a great time for you to be in the purgatory. You're not dead, you're not alive, but you're on the other side. Because did you not know, friend, that everything that we're doing is a dream right now? Yes! Even when we go to sleep, we think we're sleeping. We're not sleeping. We're actually just back in our original state of nothingness. And we're without a body, so we're without having a human experience. And we are just experiencing life without this vessel. And that's what happens when we're asleep. But when we wake up during those times, we are still in that state. Because your brain is the map and the gateway to consciousness.
Oh, well, that's interesting. I've never heard it called the ambrosial hour before. And we need to start getting up and meditating at 3 a.m. The ambrosial hour, often referred to in ancient texts as Brahma Muhurta, I hope I didn't botch that, is the window approximately 1.5 hours before sunrise, a portal where the divine whispers secrets that are revealed to those attuned to such frequencies and open to receive. Yeah, it could be. Hey, who am I to say it's not? I don't know. I'm not usually awake during those hours, so I can't really tell you anything about them. If I am awake during those hours, I'm not happy about it. But hey, maybe that's my problem. Maybe I need to start waking up at 3 a.m. and meditating. Problem is when I wake up, I can't go back to sleep. So if I'm up for the day. So if I wake up at 3 a.m., I'm going to start going to bed at like 6 p.m. Nobody wants that. But hey, I do kind of believe that a lot of the things that we're told are bad and evil, aka the witching hour, 3 a.m., are probably something that we don't fully understand. If you know anything about the Crusades and how they went around all of Europe and basically killed anyone who wouldn't convert to Christianity, and to make it more palatable for people in different regions, they took a lot of the pagan traditions and holidays and converted them and made them Christian themed. And I think that's been done with more than just holidays and traditions. I think it's also been done with stories and with a lot of things like this. Like, I don't know, without getting too deep into it, I do think that there is some sort of battle of good and evil happening in this world. And I think the evil has been, I don't want to put this without getting... I think the evil has been running rampant in the world, and that's why we're in the way we are. But there's good out there, and back to the point. Actually, no, I'm not going to go that way. Back to the point of stuff being not understanding how that. Basically, I think a lot of the stuff that we've been told is evil is actually the stuff that we should be leaning into and giving energy to. And a lot of the stuff that we've been told is good or is the right way or whatever is not. Not all of it, obviously. I mean, the basics of most religions, I've said many times, I believe in the, basic tenets of all the religions are just basically don't be a dick. Like, be nice to people, love people, do good to people. And if you do that, you'll have a positive afterlife. And if you don't do that, or you do the opposite of that, you're going to have a negative afterlife. I don't think it's really that complicated. So yeah, it could be 3 to 5 a.m. Any of you mess around with 3 to 5 a.m.? You get up and meditate or anything? Let me know in the comments. Is it more powerful to meditate during that time?
Could this really be an angel caught on camera? Watch this and decide for yourself. A week or so ago, I posted a picture that someone submitted to me of what they believed to be an angel beside their mother's house that was on fire. And it really was one of the most amazing pictures that I've ever seen. In this picture, you can see on top of this building where her father's wake was, there is a huge, ginormous being, and it does look what we think an angel would look like. He believes it's her father in angel form, but nonetheless, it certainly does look like an angel. Check this out. So right here you can see this is the building down here, but I want you to look Like, it looks like an angel perched up on top of this building. You can see the head, the wings on either side, arms. It almost looks like it's maybe bent over or looking over the building. This is an amazing capture, in my opinion. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. If you have any kind of paranormal picture, video, or story you'd like to share, my email's listed in my bio. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and God bless.
Well, it's definitely not a biblically accurate angel, but it does look like what we believe to be angels. And it's weird that this actually, I had this one saved next because this kind of goes with what I was just talking about and my thoughts on religions and how we interpret the religious texts that we have. My basic belief is that beings from another place came down to earth at some point to help humans out. And we interpreted that as angels and gods because it was, 12,000, 15,000, 2,000 years ago. That was all we had an understanding or an interpretation of. Like, if you went back to a caveman and showed him a flying saucer, he would think it's a god. He would see they just figured out fire, Basically, I believe, and I'm going to stop saying that, but basically I believe that aliens at some point came down and gave humans magic mushrooms to help them evolve. Yeah, I could be wrong, and I'd love to hear evidence otherwise, but if your evidence involves any of the religious texts, I don't count that. So, all that to say, this could be, one of those protective races of otherworldly beings there to look over, make sure nobody gets hurt, make sure a specific person doesn't get hurt, or maybe to make sure that building is on fire. Maybe that building needed to burn down for whatever reason. Or it could just be, the smoke caught at that exact moment looked weird. Because obviously it's a photo, it's not a video. Although at the bottom it does kind of look like it might be from a video. Like, that's where it cuts off right there. But it looks like a camera roll down there, or like a film roll, like as if it was a screenshot from a video. So I would love to see that actual video. And this guy's the Supernatural Sleuth, and we've seen his stuff before. He's a Christian paranormal guru, what his bio says. Yeah, the Supernatural Sleuth on TikTok. So go check him out, give him a follow. He does good content too. Okay, I'll preface this. This looks kind of familiar. So if there's a floating pan in this one, I've seen it before, but I'm not sure. It kind of looks like the video I'm thinking of, but it might not be. It's been a long time since I've seen it. So, but at the top I cut it off. It says, "OMG, this house is haunted."
Dr. Cussler, it's Mary. It's happening again. The water just came on. I'm hearing noises. My dogs are going crazy. I'm hearing stuff in the kitchen, in the bedroom. I don't know what to do.
Oh.
Oh my God, the water just turned on. I'll call you right back.
Wait, does she have two phones? Maybe there's a house phone? Or maybe she just has a camera, I guess. That's a possibility.
Oh my God, go away! Leave us alone! Oh my God.
What the hell?
Fill out, come in here!
That's it? What the fuck is this, bro? How have I never seen this before? This feels like a movie.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
The hell?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
That's creepy as hell. Bro needs to get some sun. He's pale as shit. Those last two were from Quantum Vibes 8 on TikTok. Looks like a newer account, so go give him a follow. I've never seen that before. I don't know. That's creepy as hell. But yeah, go give Quantum Vibes 8. Go give them a follow. You see, they're posting scary daily. You see, they don't got a big account. Go check them out. Oh, we know this one. This is the paranormal chick.
The following video is from a young man named Jose. He had decided to go on a camping trip, and on his very first night in the woods, he was absolutely terrified. He captures something surrounding his tent, and it oddly sounds like children screaming. Whatever it is, it's horrifying. Take a look at this video, listen to it, and tell me what you think.
What the hell? Shout out Lakers.
Son voces de niño. Es imposible que en este lugar haya niños. ¿Hay alguien? Buenas noches. Uy.
Man, I thought it was just gonna be like wolves surrounding him or something. That was way creepier. That kind of looks creepy, but I also think it's just a tree branch, isn't it? Well, I don't know. Also, kind of looks like you can see through it on part of it where it connects to the tree, so that's weird. And then it does kind of look like a face back there, but probably just some pareidolia happening, you know. The little kids out in the middle of the woods in the middle of the night, definitely creepy. What the hell are them kids doing out there? Shouldn't be any kid voices out there. I wonder where this was. He had a Lakers shirt on, and I know that doesn't necessarily mean he's in LA, but yeah, but she was the paranormal chick. That's who posted that. And then he's Jose Flores on everything. It's Jose Flores Terror on TikTok and Jose Flores Terror on YouTube. So go check him out. He does a lot of urbex and exploring creepy places. It does look like he's in California. At least he's in California a lot. He's done a lot of California places. All of his content is in Spanish, and I don't have a real-time translator yet, so, but he's definitely explored some cool places like the Devil's Tunnel in Pasadena. Yeah, go check them out. Give them a follow. Love some good urbex. Love some good creepy videos. I'm always so curious about these because they're either really creepy or really dumb. So let's see which one this is.
This charming house looks so welcoming. But beneath the sunny facade, no one would guess the horrors that occurred here for a single mother and her 4 children. When Doris Bither and her children lived here, they suffered brutal attacks. Doris was often assaulted while her children watched helplessly. There were several paranormal groups that investigated and documented the assaults. Some blamed Doris for the activity. As a teenager, Doris had dabbled in the occult. The attacks even garnered the attention of Hollywood, and the movie The Entity was released. While the movie was terrifying to watch with the knowledge of the truth behind it, it did not completely show the level of brutality they suffered, only touching the surface. Doris claimed it was not just one entity that attacked her repeatedly, but 3. That 2 of them would hold her down while the 3rd would assault her. The family moved from this home in Carson, California, hoping to escape. The attacks continued following the family. Doris continued to plead for help from churches and demonologists. Doris suffered the attacks until her death in 1999. To this day, no one has been able to explain the events. This is one of the few surviving pictures that documented activity. The equipment would malfunction or become completely inoperable. All those who have lived in this home since the events have reported no activity. The assaults were often sexual in nature. Doris's eldest son reported hearing the attacks through the walls of her bedroom. The children were on record stating they would often witness watching their mother being thrown across the room.
Jeez.
Imagine the terror of watching someone attacked by something that you couldn't fight back. Would you live in this Carson City home?
It's not Carson City. It was in Culver City, which is in LA. I didn't realize that this was going to be a Doris Bither video. I've actually got 2 other Doris Bither videos saved right now that I want to watch. So I guess we'll just do that right now. But real quick, I'm looking up this home to see. When I first moved to LA, I lived in Culver City. I'm curious how far this is from where I lived. It's like a mile. Not quite, actually. Yeah, I mean, maybe a mile where I lived from that house. But from everything I'm finding, the haunting was specific to Doris Bither. It was not the house, and it seemed to have followed her. But that video kind of sucked, so let me go find the other 2 that I saved. I bet one of those are going to be better, because they're not going to be the stupid AI voice. Oh yeah, one of the other ones I saved is from Slapped Ham, and we all know and love Slapped Ham, so I know this is going to be good.
In the vein of Esther Cox's own personal tragedy, Doris Bither would go on to experience a tragedy of her own, and of supernatural origins. Already the victim of abuse in her own life, Doris Bither was attempting to do her best to raise her 4 sons, each born from different fathers. Out of the blue, an elderly woman approached the Bithers' home one day and warned Doris of the evils of the home. Disappearing just as mysteriously as she had appeared, horrible events began to soon manifest in the home. The boys and Doris would attest that 4 ghosts began visiting the home so often that the family would be unfazed by their presence. That is until they began to attack the family. Doris and her family report biting, hitting, pushing and more, all stemming from the ghostly presences themselves. This was all nothing compared to the tragedy that Doris would experience. Her sons would go on to attest, as asserted by Doris herself, that the ghostly spirits began to sexually assault her themselves. Doris would spend her days bruised and battered after being used by the spirits, seemingly bent on making the home their own. As with Esther, Doris and her family would find these spirits would go on to follow them wherever they moved, although the attacks would eventually decrease over time. As their stories were corroborated by investigators, the Bither case is one of the most heinous and unsettling cases of poltergeist activity out there.
Yeah, it's obviously not a whole lot more detail. I mean, we know the story from the book and the movie The Entity. One of the comments says, "Poor woman, reminds me of The Entity." Terrifying story. Crazy, the story that inspired the book and the movie The Entity reminded you of The Entity. People are silly. Yeah, super interesting stuff. One of the most infamous, paranormal hauntings and poltergeist activity hauntings that, stories at least, that are out there. And yeah, it was in 1974. Obviously, we don't have footage of what was going on. That would be nice, but what are you gonna do? Maybe she wanted the attention. Maybe she needed the money for a book deal, from the book deal. But to be fair, she didn't originally reach out to like an author to do a story. She originally reached out to parapsychologist Barry Taff in 1974 to relate alarming phenomena she experienced. At the time, Taff was working in the now defunct parapsychology lab run by Thelma Moss at the University of California, Los Angeles. They ran a parapsychology lab and they went to investigate. And it does suck that those photos, even in the Wikipedia article, it says those photographs we saw of what appears to be lights are the only objective evidence gathered in the course of the visits, which is wild. You would think if you had UCLA parapsychology funding that you would have bought a video camera, brought that with you, or an audio recorder or something. Also, something that people generally leave out of this story is that those photos were taken with an instant film Polaroid SX70, which, I don't know if you've ever taken a Polaroid picture before, but they don't always come out the best quality. And they also had a 35mm camera. I actually can't find any details on which camera took that photo. I'm guessing the 35mm took this one. Unless, is that the 35mm in his hand right there? But this is, the shape of it isn't a Polaroid though. That's my issue. I mean, I know it doesn't matter, and a lot of you probably don't care, but, details are important in stuff like this, especially when we don't have a lot of evidence. So I'm guessing this photo was taken with a 35mm. And again, either way, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, all these videos just have to use a bunch of creepy photos for filler because this is the only real photo or anything close to evidence that we got. So, you got to take it with a grain of salt. Maybe it's definitely possible that this chick was having some form of psychosis. Like there's definitely plausible explanations to this, especially with such a lack of evidence. But it is a really interesting story, and with so many witnesses, like all her kids going along with it, at least it is interesting. Last thing I'll say on this, we'll move on to the next video. But it is worth noting that Taff, I'm not sure which one it is in the photo, but Taff, the one from UCLA, concluded the paranormal phenomena must have been involved, calling the case a haunting. But then reviewing the case 4 decades later, investigator Benjamin Radford concluded the case likely involves a distressed family, poor investigation techniques, and confirmation bias. So, what do you guys think? You think she was haunted, or you think they were, I don't know, I hate to say looking for a paycheck, but just another little interesting note. The Exorcist came out the year before. So, it's possible that they were just trying to sell a story. I think that's probably the direction I'm leaning in my belief, because I don't know, it is, just given the timing, the fact that everyone involved had something to gain out of this being a true story. Doris Bither being that she could potentially get a book deal or a movie deal or whatever. The team from UCLA, because they're trying, their whole purpose was to prove the existence of the paranormal. So yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Paranormal activity caught on camera, part 37.
A security guard is doing rounds at a hotel when she suddenly comes to a stop after encountering something very disturbing. This video took place in 2019 and was recently shared by a friend of the security guard shown in the clip. At first, the friend who posted this wasn't sure if sharing this online would be a good idea. What was captured, according to them, is something that the hotel would rather keep under wraps, perhaps to avoid reminding people of a terrible incident that occurred many years ago. In 1986, this exact hotel, which was formerly called the DuPont Plaza, had mysteriously caught fire, resulting in many lives being lost. Guests had no choice but to leap off their balconies as the flames had engulfed the whole building. The sight of this was hard to bear, to say the least. But fast forward to 2019, and the hotel is now rebranded and remodeled under a different company. However, from time to time, strange things would happen here. Hotel guests would report supposed paranormal experiences and blame the fire incident that occurred years ago to explain this. The following video is a prime example of what guests experience while being here. It's late at night when apparently something pulls the security guard's hair. Take a look.
Interesting tidbit they left out. On New Year's Eve, December 31st, 1986, 3 disgruntled employees at the DuPont Plaza Hotel in San Juan, Puerto Rico intentionally set a fire. The employees were involved in a labor dispute with the owners. Bro, you're involved in a labor dispute, so you're gonna murder a bunch of innocent guests? Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder it's haunted. It says the fire killed between 96 and 98 people and injured 140 others. I'm not sure how they don't have an accurate count on that. How is it between 96 and 98 people? This wasn't 1886, this was 1986, bro. Y'all couldn't count people? Also, I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm looking into who opened the DuPont Plaza Hotel. I'm going to take a wild guess. It was somebody in the DuPont family, which we've talked about on this channel before. And that's a fun rabbit hole. Go look into the DuPont family. While you're at it, go look into JP Morgan. Well, the good news is all 3 of those employees were pretty much given life in prison. One was given 75 years and the other 2 were given 99 years, which probably isn't enough, but jeez, man. Really sad. And I assumed wrong. I can't find anything about DuPont family having any connection to this hotel. It was originally opened by Sheraton Hotels in 1980. Nothing really about the DuPont family. Not sure why it's named the DuPont Plaza Hotel. But I did find the reason the death toll is different is because it was at least 96, with some sources giving a death toll of 97 or 98.
Test screenings ruined Little Shop of Horrors for decades. Strap in for one of the wildest alternate ending stories in Hollywood history. In case you're not familiar with Little Shop of Horrors, it tells the story of a flower shop owner named Seymour, who strikes a Faustian deal with a man-eating plant he names Audrey 2. The 1960 original film, directed by Roger Corman, ends with the plant eating Seymour. The stage musical, directly based on the original film, also has a downer ending, in which the plant kills Seymour and his love interest Audrey, before spreading across the US and wreaking havoc. But if you're a fan of the 1986 movie based on the stage musical, you know that the plant is defeated, and Seymour and Audrey have a happy ending in the suburbs, with a little hint that Audrey 2 might be coming back. If that mostly happy ending seems out of place to you, that's because it is. The movie was supposed to have a way darker and way cooler ending that was in line with the source material. Director Frank Oz spent $5 million, a fifth of the movie's $25 million budget, and took nearly a year to make an epic, special effects heavy finale sequence, in which Audrey 2 eats both Seymour and Audrey, and then spreads across New York, wreaking all kinds of havoc. This alternative ending features some truly spectacular 1980s practical effects. But when they showed the movie to test audiences, they hated it. It seems Rick Moranis and Ellen Greene were simply too likable, despite the fact that Seymour is basically a murderer. So it was determined that this expensive, dour ending had to go. The movie would go on to be a big hit with its nonsensical Hollywood ending. But as its lasting power grew, so did word of its original ending. Sadly, Frank Oz insisted that the footage was lost forever. People would never get to see that alternate ending. Until 1998, when somehow unfinished clips made their way onto the initial pressing of the Little Shop DVD. The studio freaked out and recalled the DVD, causing its aftermarket price to soar. But then the studio said that a fully finished version of the alternate ending would be released to the public eventually. Unfortunately, no one could find it. Thankfully, years later, the ending was found on some archive reels. It was reconstructed and remastered, and released as part of the 2012 Director's Cut Blu-ray, at last giving Little Shop of Horrors the ending that made the most sense in 1960 and on stage.
I do not believe for a second that they ever lost that footage. That was all marketing, bro, and it was genius. Fun fact, Little Shop of Horrors was what got me into acting. It was my first musical I ever did. In the first act, I was an extra, and in the second act, I was the plant. I got to control the giant plant puppet. That was fun. Yeah, bro, that's a classic. I love Little Shop of Horrors. I loved it when I was a kid, and then I got to do it. I don't think I've ever told the story of how I got into acting and performing and stuff. But yeah, it was Little Shop of Horrors. It was my second day at a new school, and a girl came up to me and said, "Hey, do you want to be in a musical?" And I was like, I don't really sing. She was like, "That's all right. We just need guys for the cast because we don't have a lot of guys in the cast." I was like, "Sure." And then went and did it, and then I was pretty decent at it. So just kept doing theater and eventually started getting, better roles and eventually did it professionally. Then I was going to college for musical theater and working professionally in musical theater. And I was like, oh, I don't need to take on all these student loans to do the thing that I'm going to school for. That was cool. Glad I figured that out early enough. Still paying those loans off though. And now for your palate cleanser. This is one of my favorite animal videos. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Where are you going? Why are you approaching me? Can you not? Sir, can I? What the fuck? What the fuck? Where are you going?
It's so good, dude.
Why are you approaching me?
Why do you do that?
Can you not? Sir, can I? What the fuck? What the
I love how it's just all dudes just tripping out over this raccoon. But I would probably trip out too if a raccoon ran up on me and was like, "Tag, you're it." What was that, dude? But his raccoon friends dared him to do that. They're like, "Hey, bet you won't go touch that human." Like, bet I won't. Say I won't. Double raccoon dare me. But there you have it, folks. That is day 29 of TikToktober in the books. We did it. We done it. We're doing it some more. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, let me know. Drop a like for me. A group of aliens from the Zeta Reticuli star system just telekinetically left a message in my brain. They said if this video doesn't receive enough likes, they're gonna beam me up and use me for research. Let's keep me earthbound. Smash that like button for me. There's a bunch of links in the description of this video, and if you click on any of them and buy anything or subscribe to anything, I'll get a small commission. So it's just another way to support the channel. My Patreon's also down there, and it's only 99 cents a month, so come say hi to the Gem Crew. So thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. I love you. So until next time, stay creepy.